What is up, y'all? This is a video response to RA reward Audacity. Um, yeah, he's bringing up the hypocrisy in the U.S. government, talking about if they really stuck to their word, they would let anybody identify as anything. And then if I walked into a VA hospital and said, even though I never served a day in my life in the military, I identify as a veteran. And of course, I mean, if I'm going to identify as a veteran and I have carte blanche to do whatever I want, I'm going to identify as like an officer or, general or whatever, just to make sure that I get the best treatment, the biggest benefits that I can possibly get. And everybody knows they're not going to do that. It's funny that you mentioned that because I am an underwriter and I work mainly with VA loans, so I'm very familiar with all of the processes that the VA makes the veterans go through to get a mortgage. At least all the forms they have to fill out, all the things that they have to prove that they served, and prove not only that they served, but if they're currently no longer active duty, if they were discharged, that it was an honorable discharge. Because if it's a dishonorable discharge that they got, then they're not eligible for a VA loan, and they're not eligible for any VA benefits if it was a dishonorable discharge. So I understand the point you're making. Obviously, it's not going to happen. It would be really nice if we had a world without hypocrisy. But those who are in power, they can be as hypocritical as they want to be, right? Because they're in power. Because the bottom line is, their guns, is what tells you what's going to happen. It's not the fact that they're consistent or whatever, because they're not consistent. So it's all about power. It's all about forcing your will upon others. And of course, they try to appear that they're not hypocritical, but it's impossible to do it, right? It's impossible to appear that you're not hypocritical and that you're completely consistent, especially when you are hypocritical. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter, does it? Somebody puts a gun to your head and says, pay your taxes or I'm going to blow your brains out. You have two choices at that point, and either way, you're not going to continue to be a U.S. citizen and not pay taxes unless you're locked up behind a prison, or you can really figure out how to get away with it, But a lot of people haven't figured that out, including Wesley Snipes and other people. So I don't know, man. Like I knew a guy back when I worked at Chase, and he would talk about his brother all the time, how his brother doesn't pay taxes, and then I knew another guy who became a realtor, and he hasn't paid income tax in, I don't know, since 2012 or something like that. And it's amazing that he's not behind bars right now, but he's totally screwed now. Like, there's certain things that he can't do. Anything that he needs, like if he needs to apply for a loan, since he's self-employed, he needs to provide his tax returns. And if he provides his tax returns, like if he provides fake tax returns, then they just run a transcript order to verify with the IRS that his taxes are legitimate, and the IRS will come back and say he didn't file. So, he can't refinance his house, he can't buy a new house, he can't do anything with his current house, and he really wants to sell his house and move. But he hasn't filed taxes in like 10 years. So they're going to get you one way or another. And, the bottom line is the powers that be are in power. That's why they call them the powers that be, not just the people that be or the entities that be. They're the powers that be. And, is it fair? No. Does it suck? Yeah. Being a little brother, growing up with a bunch of older brothers, I had a shit ton of older brothers. I guess I realized early in life that being right didn't mean anything. Being powerful is really what gets you your way. Knowing the right people, having the right connections, having the a lot of money. Um, that's the way this world works. That's the way this world works, unfortunately. And you know, you either sit back and take it, or you join with them. Like if you can't beat them, join them, kind of thing, or you just play along and just try to stay out of trouble. I guess that's what I do, and I'm sure a lot of people call me a pussy for doing that. But the government counts on people like me. They need people like me. They need people like me who look at the government and say, you guys are full of shit. You guys are total hypocrite liars. There isn't a single one of you who is not corrupt. But I'm not going to get in trouble. So I'm going to pay my taxes, and I'm not going to rock the boat. So I'm going to just, I'm just going to be a good citizen and obey all the laws and do what I'm supposed to do. And continue to be the backbone of the country as far as, like working class, and make sure that the economy's still rolling, and show up to work every day, and shop at Walmart and do all the things I'm supposed to do, because, I've been pounded into submission. I will totally, I will totally admit that. I got a wife and I got kids, and I'm not going to be the one walking through the downtown area of my city or town with an AR-15, and saying, what, I'm not doing anything illegal. What, you want to take this away from me? Go ahead, and then just like do a suicide by cop kind of a thing. That's just not me. Am I saying that person is wrong for doing that? No, I'm not. I don't open carry. I conceal carry. When I carry, I don't always carry, but, I don't even like to be looked upon as a troublemaker. And I'm just being honest. I'm not the guy showing up to town hall meetings and calling everybody a hypocrite and a liar and a lunatic and a, whatever. Like I don't do it, because, all you do when you do that is like you just get your name on a list. You just get your, like, who is that guy? Oh, Shafe? Okay. What's his social security number? Okay. Yeah, we'll get all that. We'll get his address, his social security number. We'll find out what kind of car he drives. We'll find out what he has to lose in life. We'll find out where he works. We'll find out how much he owes on his mortgage. We'll find out how much he has in his bank account, and then we'll just, we'll use that to our advantage. I don't know. You and I have different ways of looking at things. I don't think it's going to change. I think it's going to continue to get worse with the hypocrisy. This country has not reached its tipping point. It hasn't. And the reason why it hasn't, I think, is because all of our bellies are full right now. You get to a situation where we can't afford to eat anymore. Society will break down really quickly, and then we'll see what's what. When the tide goes out, we'll see who's naked and who's not. But we're not at that point right now, and I pray that we never do get there in my lifetime, because I don't want to go through that. I don't want to go through that. But I think it all comes down to food. If people start starving to death, like average working class citizens start starving to death because they simply cannot earn a living, or like, the economy is so broken down that, like, nobody can survive, and they're watching their kids go hungry and stuff. Shit'll turn ugly really, really fast, and then it'll be one of those situations where it's like long overdue, like way long overdue, and a lot of people get assassinated, and there'll be a civil war and blah, blah, blah. But until that happens, I don't think anything's going to change in this country. So try to keep this under 10 minutes. Talk to you guys later.